This was just an absolute embarrassment. Every single commentator, including Kyle and myself, gave the utmost praise, hype, confidence that this defensive front was going to wreak havoc on Patrick Mahomes. He tweaked his ankle on the last drive right before halftime. Yes, they were able to at least pressure him. They were able to make it a little bit difficult. But for the most part, this Eagles defense was completely non existent. I will give credit once again to Kansas City's offensive line. This has nothing to do with belittling or giving no credit to the opposing side. Again, the battle of the trenches was won by the offensive line on both sides. So again, I will preview that with the Eagles defense as a whole outside of the pass rush played poorly. The secondary, what's going on here? Anytime there was a man in motion for Kansas City, suddenly the Philly doesn't know how to cover. You're telling me that you don't know how to play man coverage when you're one of the best man coverage teams in the league? And then when you drop into a zone, no one has any idea where any receivers are. They have no instinct as to where the open holes are. Darius Slay getting embarrassed by Kadarius Toney. Then you have the same exact play flipped on the other side, and then you have Sky Moore open right on the same flat that there was on the previous touchdown. Well, I really like. I don't understand how John Gannon just got beat by this offensive. Again, Eric Bieniemy is one of the better offensive coordinators in the game, but he ran the same play twice on opposite sides. Any motion that came through, the Eagles had no concept of what was going on. They looked like high school football players. They had no idea how to stop it. The Chiefs looked unbeatable when it came to a man in motion play. The Chiefs' offensive line was creating gaping holes for the run game. They averaged 6 yards per carry. Patrick Mahomes himself had 44 yards. He had 7 yards per carry with one fucking ankle. One. I don't understand how Philadelphia, and I'm sorry, my voice is sore because I was screaming that entire game, but how in God's name is Patrick Mahomes second in the longest rushing attempt of the entire game? He was only beat by Jalen with 28. Pat Mahomes' rush was 26 yards. Pacheco had a 24-yard run. You're telling me a quarterback on 1 foot is able to get damn near 30 yards? Where's the containment? Where's the pressure? Where's the turnovers? Where's the coverage? Where's the intensity? I am at a loss, truthfully and honestly, as somebody who 100% expected this defense to at least create a turnover, to at least get a couple of sacks, to at least get consistent pressure on the quarterback. And they didn't do any of them. Gardner Johnson, Darius Slade, James Bradbury. Where were you guys today, bro? Seriously. And Darius Slay, especially on the Kadarius Toney touchdown. Like, completely lost. Completely. The fact that the inside man did not shade over, even though Kadarius Toney came back out because that was the purpose of the route. Why did Slay come so far inside to where there was no opportunity for recovery? And Bradbury on the opposite side, or Maddox, whichever corner it was. We knew Travis Kelce was going to get his targets. We knew Travis Kelce was going to get those catches. It's the best tight end in football. There's no covering him. There just isn't. I picked Juju Smith-Schuster to be the X factor. He stepped up in the second half and he had 9 targets, 7 catches, which led the entire Chiefs wide receiver corps. So technically the X factor for me was 100% correct for Kansas City. But for the rushing attack, 158 yards on the ground. We know that that's one of the weakest attributes of Philly's defense, but for the most part, you were able to solidify that over the course of the last few weeks. And then you go and you let Isaiah Pacheco? Who the hell is that? You didn't even let Christian McCaffrey kill you that bad. Really? Pat Mahomes? On 1 foot? I have to stress, on 1 foot? All this money, all these trades, all this draft capital, and you couldn't stop a nosebleed. I understand that the defense on the Kansas City side was just as bad, but at least they forced a turnover. At least they scored. At least they got sacks. They did something. They put numbers on the board. Brandon Graham, Hassan Reddick, Fletcher Cox, and all the rest of those. Did y'all decide to take the Super Bowl off? Where was the Philadelphia Eagles defense? I have no concept. I don't know what happened. And with what we're going to talk about in our next segment, obviously we'll get into more details, but this was their opportunity. This defense failed them because it damn sure wasn't Jalen Hurts' fault. Yes, he had a turnover. It was his first damn Super Bowl. One turnover is allowed. Was it a touchdown? Yes. But when you go out there and you score 4 fucking touchdowns in your first Super Bowl and 300 plus yards of total offense, over 350, I'm not blaming Jalen Hurts. Hurts can't handle the pressure. You don't know what you're talking about in football. Keep your mouth shut. That was the defense. Period. And I have nothing else to say because that was just flat out embarrassing.